Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Hot Kopics episode 131 with myself, AGT, and the birthday man,
Me!
Doyle!
I'm bloody old!
Wretch this year, innit? Wretch 32 years old?
No, I'm 21, lads.
21 again.
21.
21 again.
No, I'm 32, lad. Feeling it as well, you know. Got a little
it.
pain in the shoulder, a little pain in the neck, in the ankle. Oh. And do you know what's
And pain in the heart.
And the heart,
actually,
yeah.
because we lost on his birthday weekend
Yeah,
to
we
Nottingham Forest at
I'm
home.
about to stand up there quick, because I'm 32 years old. And as you can see, I've got the Liverpool kit on. And I've also got like little Nike pants on as well to go with it.
We're doing a
You
fit
can't,
check.
yeah, and also here's me Nike trainees as well.
Nice.
Where are they? Where are this? There they are. Watch it.
P6000s,
Yeah.
great model.
Anyway, I'm saying that to say, lad, you're never too old to be a full kit. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
lad?
that's
So
true.
That's where I am.
I'd say 24 is
Yeah.
probably the age.
I'm
But
well
anyway,
past it.
guys, we're going to try and keep the energy up. We're giving you positive vibes today. We are obviously going to talk about the horrendous loss at home to Nottingham Forest. I don't know why I'm smiling. Definitely weren't smiling when
It's
we were
not
watching
funny.
it, were we?
It's not
Before
funny.
we break down that game, just like Forest broke us down, smash that like button, right? It does help us. I'm
Yeah.
not asking you. I'm telling you to do it.
Please, lad.
Do it for his birthday, if
it is.
anything.
It's my birthday.
Comment.
I
Happy
woke up
birthday,
early.
Doyle.
Yeah, I woke up early. I could have stayed away extra time, and I didn't. I chose to come for this podcast
Good
to
lad.
deliver you
Great
content
lad.
because I'm committed to you.
Yeah, so
Just give
do us a
like for that.
favour and like the bloody video, and then obviously subscribe if you haven't already. We're this close to 46k,
So close.
and then obviously the big step after that is the 50. So
We
if you
need
haven't
that 50.
subscribed, make sure you do. Today we're going to be talking about the Forest game, looking ahead to the Milan game as
Big
well.
one.
Tomorrow night in the San Siro, the Kop TV's Mario is going to be there. So
Is he going there,
He's
is he?
He's already in Italy. He's
Fantastic.
there. He's going to watch that one for us
Fantastic.
and give you guys a video from outside the San Siro after.
That's so cool, lad.
And then it's Bournemouth at the weekend, which I wasn't scared about, but now I actually quite am a little bit scared about that one, considering how well they played against Chelsea at the weekend. So Doyle, we'll start off by saying we spent the weekend together
Yeah.
in North Wales.
Yeah, we did.
Really beautiful town called Denbigh.
Yeah.
And we were there for your birthday. Jack was there, who's the man behind the camera of
He's
the
the
Kop
father
TV.
of the
P-Mac
group,
was
by the way.
there. Yeah, he's the godfather for sure.
He is.
And we had a beautiful time. The rolling green hills. The food was
Ancient
sensational.
ruins,
We went
beautiful
for a walk
wildlife.
to
Yeah.
a beautiful old castle.
Yeah.
We stopped in a little pub for a pint of Guinness. and it
Talking
was
about Man
decent.
United, watching that
It was
game.
decent.
Talking smack about them to a fella that we thought was Scouse that wasn't.
Yeah.
And he's probably laughing at us now after the result. So
Yeah, 100%. So listen, it is what it is. We didn't win, unfortunately. We sat down thinking, right, let's watch this. Doyle's birthday.
Nottingham Forest
Little
at
3
home.
points
Yeah.
at home. And then we lost.
Yeah.
And it was a good goal from Hudson and Doyle. I'll give him
Brilliant goal.
that. But it was
Brilliant.
Forest's first win at Anfield, Doyle. And I said this on the preview since 1969. Right, Bill Shankly was the manager. And yeah, it just wasn't our day. We were toothless, right? That's the title of this episode. We were toothless. You can look at the Diaz chance that hits the post. You can look at the keeper almost scoring an own goal.
The header from Jota.
But it was our fault we didn't win that game. The header from
Absolutely.
Jota was no good as well. It was our fault we didn't win that game. What I don't want to do is say how bad Liverpool were. I'd like to actually say that Forest played their game plan to perfection, and that's why we lost.
They were
They
resolute and
defended well.
compact.
But on the other hand, yes, we lost. But apart from the goal, we actually defended quite well. I don't think attacking-wise we were at it at all, but maybe the midfield was losing a bit of legs as well. My question to you is, knowing that we had the international break and this isn't an excuse, by the way, before anyone says it, you could see the players were knackered, right? They weren't up for it. Would you have made any changes with hindsight looking back at that game?
It's one of them where I don't think I would have, because that team has performed exceptionally well in the international break. They all performed exceptionally well. So there's no reason to stop that momentum that they've already been building and on the international break. But it did seem that regardless of form, the rhythm just wasn't there. The reason why we were winning them first 3 games is because the rhythm was just electric. Boom, boom, boom. Every execution was perfect. And the plan A worked. But then when we had to have a plan B, it wasn't there. You could see it. And that's, I guess, natural because it's a new manager and he's just trying to perfect that plan A right now. He hasn't got a plan B or a plan C prepared. I don't think he does anyway, because we didn't really respond very well, even when we went 1-0 down, to be quite honest with you. It was just more of the same that we'd already been doing. The final pass was really, really poor,
Man.
which is something that
worst we've seen this season.
It was.
And for a while.
We haven't actually seen that in the first 3 games. We didn't see any final, in the final third, we were exceptional. So I think it's just reality coming home now, isn't it, mate? It's at Anfield. We never expect to lose there. We have. So how do we respond from this? Going into the Milan game, we'll talk about it later. I think we just need a massive result. We need to go in and win and have that plan B ready. We haven't conceded yet, and I wanted to see what we were like when we conceded, and it wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I agree. I mean, in terms of a plan A, he's used the same team for 3 games in a row. With hindsight, I mean, Grav was maybe the best player still.
He was.
But with hindsight, could you have dropped Maka and maybe thrown Curtis in? Could you have maybe started Nunes? Jota looked pretty dead.
He brought them on early, in my opinion. He brought them on in 60th something minute, and Nunes really didn't contribute very much. I'm really worried about Nunes in this system. The short passes, he requires technical ability, and that's just not what Nunes is. Nunes is a getting behind a striker. In hindsight, I honestly think that he done the right things. He started the right team. It just didn't work out. And we're going to have many games like that, where everything sort of looks right. Yeah, we're going to win this game. But we don't. I think there's going to be more to that to come in the season. We've been in dreamland so far. We've won 3 out of 3 and not even conceded a goal. We beat our biggest rivals. So we're just coming back down to earth right now, and you are going to be reminded on the show after this, lad. And I don't envy him, It's my birthday as well, so I wouldn't be doing it anyway.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah,
I've actually had a really good day so far.
Yeah.
Got down to London nice and early, went to the gym. Got in the old ice bath. That wakes you up, I tell you.
He's chose today to do a day in the life as well. And it's
Yeah,
today
and it's
that he's
today
going to have to be a
Where
sausage.
I'm going to be wearing a sausage outfit.
Oh my God.
Even though I invented the whole sausage thing here.
It's coming
Anyway,
back to bite him.
the hard facts are that it's our 3rd home defeat in the Premier League in 7 years. And those 3 defeats have come against Leeds, Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Right, we haven't lost at home to United, Chelsea, Arsenal, City in 7+ years, right?
Didn't we lose to Burnley as well?
1-0.
Everton as well? Are you sure
I'm
of that?
talking about with fans though in the stadium.
All right, so with fans.
it's it's a tough one to take. Listen, it's a humbler, right? It's brought us right back down to ground. If you're a social media fan of Liverpool, it really wasn't a nice place to be on social media for, because people are over the top, they're overreactive, they are saying this, saying that. One of the things was, a £70 million striker in his 3rd season on the bench. It doesn't look good for Darwin Núñez. It's just what you just said there. Yeah. Do you think?
I actually think Jota's a better finisher, lad.
Even though Jota in the last 2 games he started both, he hasn't done anything.
He is on.
That for me is. That's when you change it, and maybe we do start Núñez over in Milan. Maybe we do start Curtis Jones in midfield in that game. I think now I'd like to see, okay, your plan A is good on its day, but let's see your plan B, your C, your D, because heading into these cup games, which we've got West Ham at home in the cup a week on Wednesday. It's a massive, massive couple of weeks for Liverpool. Is it time to see a plan B, C, etc., to show the depth, to show the understanding of the squad, right, when the legs are tired?
I think it's time to respond, and there's no better opportunity to change the plan when you've had a defeat. I don't think you wait and react. You proactively find the solutions to problems that are 100% going to come up throughout the season. We're going to concede goals. We're going to struggle in some football games. We're going to need to play different tactics. Arne Slot's a very professional manager, and we've seen that so far. So I have no doubt that he will be concocting some kind of tactical plan. He is that type of man, I think. But yeah, Tuesday, tomorrow, start somebody else, yeah. Why not? Jota was a little bit underwhelming in the last 2 games. He was, to be honest, I'm not going to say in the last 2 games. In that game against Forest, he was underwhelming. You couldn't really see he was on the pitch. Lucho was the only one at the first 30 minutes that you could really see. Mo Salah had a few bits of the ball. The Szoboszlai's final pass was, honestly, it was
horrible.
Dreadful.
And he should have been sent off.
I didn't see that.
When he kicked the ball away.
Oh, right, yeah.
He should have got sent off.
Yeah, we got lucky there as well, lad. I know it wasn't for the free
kick.
kick.
Last couple of games.
He has. He's been poor this game. Let's not overinflate this, right? We had a poor performance. I think it was a lack of rhythm from everybody, because we got into so many wonderful positions where you'd be like, something's about to happen, and it was a poor ball every single time. It was almost like we expected the ball just to go to our defender or our attacker or whatever. It just never happened, lad. It was just a poor performance from everybody. It really was.
Yeah, Arne Slot said on his first defeat, which we never expected, really, he said, we lost the ball so many times in simple situations. That's the story of the game. We only have to look at ourselves. We have to be better. Far too many times we lost the ball around the area. It was not good enough. I think, that's honest. That's straight to the point. He's saying, I'll take the responsibility. The team weren't good enough. Simply, we lost the ball too many times. I think between Trent, Salah and Jota, we lost the ball 70 times throughout the game. And you're right, when we're attacking, right, and it's like the red arrows, you've got Soboslai on the ball, Salah, Jota, Diaz, they're all running forward, and then it's the wrong pass or not enough on it, or too much on it, or it's intercepted, or, he's looking this way and the player on his left.
It was
too many times. We got in tasty situations, and the decision-making, the assertiveness of the pass, the direction of the pass was not good enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough.
We didn't make it happen. We didn't force enough, lad. We didn't push the case enough. It was almost like the compact low block just beat us. It was. There was a few chances. If that Diaz goal goes in at the very start, the game's a completely different environment. Then they probably crumble and we scored a few goals. They had the chance with Jota where he had that header. Brilliant save, to be fair to them. But if we don't bag them chances, how else are we looking to find goals? And we just didn't seem to have any ideas, to be quite honest with you. And the ideas that we did have just fell short of the mark, lad. Incredibly short of it, like. But it's natural. I think this is just... You have to get used.
It's a big humbler, though, isn't it? No one expected this.
Not at Anfield. It's different when you go to... It's different when you go away and you lose to a team like Forest, because they can be hard at home. But at Anfield, mate, it's been embarrassing, to be honest with you. Especially when, like, we're around all these Arsenal fans and we were making fun of them for drawing against Brighton and that, and then we just lost, honestly. It's a humbler. Just got to be ready for the season and these results happening.
This stat is a humbler. Virgil van Dijk has now lost his third Premier League game at Anfield, 98 games out of 101 unbeaten. And they, like I said, they were Palace, Forest and Leeds.
Mad. He's played against Barcelona, PSG, Real Madrid.
Yeah, he has.
I mean, he's lost at them at home as well, some of them, like, so fair play. But also, it's just mad. Arsenal, City's like, how has this happened with them three teams, lads?
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Even Newcastle are ahead of us in the table now. We're currently fourth. The low block, right? The low block, we really struggled with it. And again, you have to give credit to Forest for stopping us.
Super compact.
We didn't break them down. They deserved to win the game. But is this now a wake-up call to say, Ipswich came at us. They were really open. And obviously in the second half, we dealt with them. Brentford, they came at us. United, they were at home. They had to come at us. We put them away. But these are the kind of games that you have to find the key to unlock the door of the low block. How do we do it? Because Bournemouth will be coming to Anfield on Saturday going,
low block.
We'll just carbon copy what Forest did.
Yeah.
And if we frustrate Liverpool, if they don't score, if that shot from Diaz doesn't go in, if the keeper doesn't score that own goal, and we keep them 0-0 at half-time, we execute the game plan. How do we unlock the door with these low blocks, especially at Anfield? Because away, obviously the onus is on the home team, but how do we unlock the door for the low block teams at Anfield?
It's difficult, right? Because honestly, the strategy you've got right now is the right one. You pass short passes and you move and you drag people out of position so you can fill in the space yourself. And we've done that for the first three games. I know you're saying that they did come at us, but there was a point where Ipswich were a really low block and we were able to find passes. It's just now that was a really organised team with a good manager. Nuno Santos is not a bad manager. He's organised them, had them resolute. They were up for it. And we just couldn't find gaps. Or we did. Do you know what it was? We did find gaps. We just didn't execute the passes properly, lad. It was as simple as that. That's why I'm not super worried. It seemed like an off day. It seemed like a team players that have just come back from an international break playing with different players. They lacked the rhythm to find each other in different pockets of space that they'd created through the build-up. And as a result, everything broke down. So we were just constantly caught on this counter-attack by Nottingham Forest and eventually conceded one as a result. How do we break the low block down? Exactly what we've been doing. We just need to execute it a bit better, in my opinion. And we have been doing that for the first three games. So plan B, I don't know what it's going to be for him, but he's going to need it because he's going to have to pull out a whole bunch of different tricks throughout this season with the amount of games. October and November are going to be insane. We've had it all so far, so can't ask for a better start. Just got to support him now, see what this turbulent season is going to be like. It's not going to be perfect. We've just seen it. You can't be perfect when you're losing to Nottingham Forest at home, mate.
Yeah, and when you consider that City won at home, they were 1-0 down in the
Erling
first
Haaland,
minute.
mate.
obviously Arsenal went and did their thing against Spurs in the North London derby. There was a real chance for Liverpool to stay up there. Listen, we're only 1.2 points off of City now, so of course it's not the end of the world. And the key thing that I think Liverpool fans need to remember, yes, we lost at home. Yes, it's embarrassing. Yes, we played poor. All the bad things you can say about that game, yes. There's probably going to be 60 more games throughout this season. There's going to be ups and downs. And all these people overreacting on social media, I think you need to wake up and smell the coffee.
Just see what happens. That honestly, like, you can't predict the future of what we're going to be like throughout this season. So just enjoy the ride, really, because I don't think we're going to go on to win the league. And I don't think anyone thinks that. So we just got to back the boys, support them, and enjoy the high moments and support them through the low moments, because that's going to happen this season. It just is.
Yeah, let's try and keep that to a minimum, though. Let's try and not let that happen loads and loads of times.
I would like not to that to happen, like, but
because I mean,
preparing myself, lads.
You know what? I think as a Liverpool fan, losing at home, you really feel it more. I know other teams, have good records at home, but our thing is we just don't lose at Anfield, And
Virgil doesn't have a record like that. If we keep throwing away home games, that's not. We take most of our season's points from our home games, right? And it's not necessarily that we just lost at home. We lost at home to a team that we should absolutely be battering, mate. We should be absolutely
3-0
points
last year.
It's acceptable to draw against Arsenal. It's acceptable to draw against Cities. But when we're going to look for titles and trophies, these type of games that you literally cannot afford to lose. You can't, because going up against City and Arsenal, 1-2 points is all it needs. So.
Yeah. Do you think it's, in a weird way, do you think it's good that we've lost this early?
Yeah, it's absolutely great that we've lost this early, because we're going to have to answer questions very early now. Like we just said, it's got a plan B. It's great when it works. What's your plan B? Because you're absolutely going to need to use it for the next 60 games that you've got. So absolutely, yes. I just wish it wasn't at Anfield. I wish it was away. That would have been better. That's it, really, lad. But it's bound to happen. You can't win everything. You've got to lose something. Now is the time to respond, and let's see what we do on Tuesday. I think we can bounce back. I do.
We're gonna have to.
I want to see fire, right? I said this, right? The biggest attribute that Jurgen Klopp had was he was able to get his team to come back time after time after time. And that's because he played with heart. He wasn't a methodical manager. He got the best out of his team when they were emotional. And I want to see that emotional side still in this Liverpool squad, because I do believe it's a club based around that type of philosophy. So using the Kop, using Anfield to push them players and stage them on, that's what we've got to do.
Yeah. I
want to see this against AC Milan. I want to see the away fans screaming their heads off. I want to see some fight, lad. We're a better team than AC Milan. We can beat them. So go and do it, lad. Fire. Got Mo Salah, you've got Trent, you've got Virgil, you've got Alisson. They've all done this. I want all the lads to just follow suit, really. That's what I need. I need them to have the heart and the comeback ability that they've had over the last 9 years. If we don't have that,
it's going to be long.
That's part of Liverpool dead for me, lad. It really is.
Although obviously Arne Slot has come from Feyenoord, there is maybe a glimmer of hope, right? Because in his third Eredivisie match in charge of Feyenoord, he lost 3-1. But in the next game, he goes to PSV away and wins 4-0. So he's shown that he can bounce back. He's shown that, you can gather yourself and go again. The one thing that I didn't really understand was the fact that we didn't see Federico Chiesa. I thought he would have at least been on the bench.
Wasn't even there.
And he wasn't on the bench at all. It would have been good to maybe bring him on, but I'm assuming he will travel to Italy. Apparently, he has a good record as well at the San Siro whilst playing for Fiorentina and Juventus as well. So hopefully that's a happy hunting ground for him. And
I want to see him come on 60th minute or something.
Yeah, no, Salah starts that one, but we'll speak about that very shortly as well. But yeah, in the end, to round it off, it was a great finish from Adoy.
It's a quality finish, lad.
I mean, there's question marks over Conor Bradley, who came on. I mean, it was really obvious what Hudson-Odoi was trying to do, drop the shoulder, come inside. And I have seen it back. He does try and show him down the line, but it's very easy. And Alisson, as we saw with the goalkeeper in the first half, the Son, I don't know, maybe if Alisson wore a hat or something.
I don't even. I think.
But he didn't look like he had any kind of control of the ball, control of his dive. He didn't dive; it hit the post and went in. So
Trent, I just want to add that what you just said is a good point, and I remember about this now. He brought on Conor Bradley, who's fantastic, right? But Trent is not a midfielder. I don't care now. Honestly, he's not a midfielder, lad. he's brilliant in an inverted role because he's got the space and time to pick the passes and be creative because his variety of passing is exceptional. But I still prefer him in a right-back role where he has the freedoms to do that. The second you put him in centre defensive mid or centre mid, whatever, he's got extra responsibilities that he didn't have in that inverted role. So that time that you need for the ball and the passes, he hasn't got. He can still do a job. Without a doubt, he can do a job in midfield. He's a phenomenon of a player, but I still prefer him with the freedom. And I think that was a major thing. You've seen Hudson-Odoi have Connor Bradley on toast, lad, about 4 times, and then it went to the goal. I don't know what happened with Connor. It seemed like he was just thrown into a game and his head was just a bit spun out by how quick the game was going. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Didn't catch up, didn't hit the ground running. I'm not going to get on his back. He's a young kid and he's been phenomenal for Liverpool. So I don't think that works. You're going to have to let me know what you think, but I don't think Trent should be a midfielder. I think he should be a right back for the rest of his career, and he should be played in an inverted role where he can do them passes and he can create chances and get the ball forward and do them diags and breach gaps. But as a right back, not a centre mid. That's just my opinion. I'm not a football manager, but I see it time after time when he's been put in midfield that it just doesn't quite. We sacrifice too much at right back. We sacrifice too much somewhere else. It's not good weighing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, 60 minutes to make so many changes. It was a bold move. It was 0-0 at the time as well. We thought it would help, but there's news this morning that apparently Liverpool have identified Sevilla's Loic Bade as a possible replacement for Van Dijk. 24-year-old has a £42 million release clause in his contract. That was from Court Offside.
There's one about Bremer from Juventus. Yeah. 27.
There's one about Angel Gomez this morning as well.
We keep Virgil. Yeah, you keep Virgil, lad. I don't care. You just keep him, lad.
Yeah, you just keep him, don't
you? You've got 2-3 years left in him, lad, and he's world-class defender, lad.
Yeah.
You keep hold of him. Even if he's not performing at the top level in 2 years' time, the value that he'll add to the dressing room is you can't get that. You can't get defenders like that. So you keep him there. There's a reason why James Milner, definitely a brilliant footballer, but there's a reason why he's kept in the Premier League, because he's got the mentality to instill in the rest of the squad. You need players in the dressing room. Virgil is a leader and is one of them, believe me.
Yeah, and Virgil, was quite critical of the performance as well, but now he's preparing to lead out the Reds for the first time as club skipper in the Champions League, right?
Boss.
Our first game in Europe's premier competition for 18 months. I haven't been in the Champions League for 18 months. Another good, nice little piece that we saw on Saturday was Thiago was in the crowd. He said it's always been a goal to be at the stadium, not just as a player, but also as a fan. I mean, I'm pretty sure he did that for the last 2 years.
He watched us lose, lad. I know, that's fair.
Yeah,
he basically was just a better for the last than everybody else,
wasn't he? But what a beautiful man. I don't know, is it a tax reason why he's had to come back?
I think we heard something like that from our mates, didn't we, lads?
Like
it might
he
be.
was a Barcelona coach. They've won 5 out of 5, and you're thinking that's a great move for him. And then
he's
taking his kids back to school in Liverpool.
Well, then come back to us, lad. We'll give you a coaching job, bro. Seeing this looks sick, doesn't it? You could wear this, lad. You know what I mean?
Honestly, it is. Let's move on then, right?
Yeah.
That's in the past. We've got to move on. This is now your preview for AC Milan versus Liverpool in the Champions League. Potentially the best fixture of all time in the Champions League you remember the Istanbul final.
Yeah, the best final.
Remember to like this video, get your comments in as we preview the AC Milan game, which will be taking place in the San Siro, a stadium that we actually thought was being knocked down, but it isn't anymore.
It's not being knocked down.
That's what I heard, right? There was rumours that it was, but now maybe it isn't. Who knows? What the Italians are like.
I love it.
I don't know. Let me talk to you about Milan's form so far in La Liga. Serie A.
They've been terrible. I know they have.
Yeah, well, they got their first win last night, or on Saturday, sorry. They've played 4, won 1, drawn 2, and lost 1. They currently find themselves 9th in the table. There was a convincing win against Venice the other day. They were actually 4-0 up in the first half an hour. Theo Hernandez, Yusuf Fofana, Christian Pulisic, and Tammy Abraham. Especially the last two, Pulisic and Abraham. We know all about them. We've played against them many times. Good timing for them to get that win for them. Obviously, they didn't score in the second half, but the damage had already been done. This is one of the elite fixtures in European football in history. This is a European heritage game.
Yeah, it is.
You add their Champions League 7 to ours 6. I mean, it doesn't really, apart from maybe Real Madrid, Liverpool.
Yeah.
or Real Madrid, AC Milan or Real Madrid.
Barca, Bayern.
Yeah, this is one of the top 5 European games of all time, right? And Divock Origi is still a AC Milan player. He's our hero. But he's been kind of cast away a little bit, and doesn't look like he's actually gonna get into the team. He actually hasn't got into the first team squad. He's no longer part of their plans, which is sad, really, for him. But at the same time,
he moved, right? He moved initially because he just wanted the first team football. He went to Forest as well, didn't he, for a little bit?
He was on loan at Forest. He scored 2 goals for Milan in 36, 1 in 22 for Forest.
Not good enough.
He actually has played for Liverpool against AC Milan. Do you remember the Mackies kit when we won there a couple of years ago? We did beat them at Anfield a few years back as well. Remember with that game we watched? Henderson scored the winner.
Oh, that was my birthday. That was my birthday 2-3 years ago, actually, on my birthday.
Yeah, 3 years ago, that one. So how do you feel going into this game? I mean, European competition. It's the first ever Champions League game that Arne Slot will have managed in his career.
Is it?
Yeah, he's never been in the Champions League before. Obviously, we've not been in the Champions League for a season.
Didn't he win the league with Feyenoord?
Yeah, but he was in the Europa League. He didn't go in the Champions League.
Why?
There
must be, no, it can't be that kind.
Well, I looked it up. He hasn't.
Really?
He hasn't. Yeah. So listen, it's a new test. It's a new challenge. We could make some changes. I do think there will be some changes in this. I would actually go with, and we can do our lineup predictions now. Alisson in goal. Trent,
Trent, definitely.
Ibu and Verge.
Backline's the same.
Robbo, backline. I'm happy with the backline. The midfield is where I think I'd bring in Endo, for this. I would play Endo.
I wouldn't. I think the reason why our game changed on Saturday was because that double pivot with them players is successful the way it is, lad, because of their attributes. And I think the second we put Trent into that double pivot, there was so much more space, and I think it would be the same with Endo. You'd be expecting a lot more from Ryan when it comes to carrying the ball forward, because Endo's not going to do that. He's going to break up the play and pass it on, which is great. So we could work it, but I don't think it'd be as expansive as a Macher in that pivot. But I'd still be happy to see him there, lad. Still be happy to get him a game, especially with Macher having a little bit of tightness.
So what's your 3 then, in midfield?
I'd just start saying, to be honest with you, lads.
See, I wouldn't.
I'd do Macher, Ryan and Sosbo, but Sosbo is the one for me that if you have a bad game, lads, you're getting dropped, and Harvey Elliott's
I would drop him. Well, Harvey Elliott's injured, isn't he, for 8 weeks. I would play Curtis Jones, and I would go Endo, Macher, Curtis, and just give Ryan a little bit of a break on the legs. That's me. I'd go Endo, Macher and Curtis.
You could even put Macher in the 10, You could put Macher in the 10, put Endo behind him. I think I prefer that. I'm gutted for Elliott. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Right, I told you about players that I was worried about. Nunes and Elliott are 2 of the players that I'm absolutely terrified for in this slot system. And now that Elliott's been injured,
sets him back a bit.
Yeah, please don't forget about Elliott, lad, because last season he was phenomenal for us. I really think that kid's got lots to offer. I love his attitude towards Liverpool. He enjoys playing for us. That's the type of individual that I want in my football team, lad. And if there's somebody that's not performing like Dom, he will step in and give us everything to do a good job. And he did it last season. You've seen it plenty of times, lad. Mate, go today, So what would I do? Midfield would actually be, right? Macher in the 10. Gravenberch, Endo. Macher can play at 10, easy. That's what we're going to have to do throughout this season. We're talking about plan A and plan B. There's another plan for you, lad. Put Macher in the 10 instead.
So far we've got Alisson, Trent, Virgil, Konate, Robbo. What are we agreeing then as the 3 in midfield? We've both got to come to an agreement. Endo,
Gravenberch,
Macher in the 10.
Yeah.
I'd start Nunes in this game. I'd like to start Nunes.
Centre forward.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of game that he could really be impactful in. He could get him behind. I like that kind of link up we saw a few times last season. Macher assisting Nunes.
Yeah.
Think to the Forest game last year. You think to that. Is it West Ham when the ball comes just over the top from Macher and Nunes finishes it? Really good finish.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see what that kind of partnership.
Also, I like the link up that Mo Salah and Nunes have sometimes. We've seen this where Mo Salah will collect it on the right wing. He'll sort of tuck in a little bit, and then Nunes will make a run down the right wing again, and he'll lift it off to him, and he'll cross it in or get a shot off. I like that move that they've got going on. So there.
I would actually go Gakpo, Nunes, Salah.
I would. I want to see Gakpo. Lewis has been Lucho has actually he's been brilliant.
No problem with that.
Exactly that, lad. Just I want to see Gakpo because his form for Netherlands has been sick. I feel like they're similar to the way that Arne Slot has unlocked Gravenberch, I think he'll unlock Gakpo as well. He's going to give him that confidence, that Dutch system. I feel like I do want to see Gakpo start, I would.
Yeah. So Alisson in goal, Trent, Virgil, Ibu, Robbo, Endo, Grav, Maka, Gakpo, Nunes, Salah. Let us know in the chat. Is that right? Is it wrong? And if you do go with that team off the bench, you can bring on a Jota, you can bring on a Luis Diaz.
This is our plan B team,
you can
right?
bring
That's
on,
what this is.
Gravenberch or a Maka or a Sobo, whoever doesn't start in that system. I have to correct myself. He's managed 6 Champions League matches
so, lad.
before.
I was pretty convinced, because I've seen there was a goal that
just group stages though.
Yeah. There was a goal that he scored in the Champions League. That was one of the most beautiful goals, lad. It was almost tick-attack, bum, bum, bum,
Yeah,
bum,
I've
bum,
seen
bum,
that goal.
decisive passing, gorgeous, lad. And it was in the Champions League accounts, and he said,
Yeah, slot ball.
Slot ball, lad.
So in 2021, he got to the group stage at the Europa League. 2022, got all the way to the final and lost against Roma. And then in 2023, he got to the Europa League quarterfinals.
Was that Slot who lost?
And then it was last season, he got into the group stage with Feyenoord. And yeah, they actually lost. I mean, if you're losing against Celtic in the Champions League, I love Celtic, you love Celtic, but
but then
you can't be losing to them in the Champions League. But anyway, they faced Roma again in the Champions League and lost. So hopefully, Slot doesn't come up against any Roma teams in the
Slot
future.
system, brother.
But played 57 in Europe, won 25, drawn 18, lost 14. That's his European record, which is
great.
okay.
Yeah.
2 letters, O and a K. Yeah. Let's talk about the score prediction. Obviously, a new system, a new format in the Champions League this year going forward.
Completely different.
It's Real Madrid after this. It doesn't get any easier.
Why do we get, honestly...
The start is so hard.
We could be out the Champions League for 50 years, come back, and they'd be like, your first game's Real Madrid, boys, yeah?
Yeah. Second game's Bayer Leverkusen as well.
Why?
The second home game. So, score prediction for this. The last time we went there, we won. Tough, man. I mean, again, this is one of the Europe's elite games. It's difficult to predict, but I'll go with 3-2 Liverpool.
I'm going to say...
I don't really like that, though.
Neither do I. That's not nice.
I mean, it's a win, but...
I'm the same, lad. I feel the same. One of the problems with Arne Slot's system is players have to be so technically gifted, and they have to be executing everything perfectly all of the time. There's no room for error in this type of system. There's no grace. Does that make sense? So it's whether or not the boys are going to turn up. If they turn up, we beat them 3-0, lad. Genuinely. If our plan is successful, smoke them 3-0, no problem, lad. But I don't think it's going to be like that, especially with our changes. I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1, Nunes gets a goal for us, lad.
Yeah.
And Mo Salah gets the other one.
We need him to score. He hasn't scored so far this season, hasn't really had the chance to. But let us know in the chat. Liverpool travel to Milan. What is your lineup prediction? What's your score prediction as well? As we go back into the Champions League, obviously, we haven't been in it last season.
I'd like him to try and fight for this, lad. I know the league that's a difficult one, right? But in Cup ties, anything can happen. I'd really love Liverpool to go for the Champions League this year. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but this is where I want the eggs to be, this basket. This is where I want most of the eggs to be.
In the Champions League, in Europe. Yeah, listen, our record speaks for itself, Just reading this article from liverpoolworld.co.uk, it's a bit of an injury update for Milan. So Benacer is out, or Benasser, however you pronounce it. Florenzi is out with an ACL.
How's Leao doing?
He played well the other night. He's there. Calabria is the captain. He could be involved. But for us, obviously, Harvey Elliott's out. Jadon Danz is out. Chiesa could obviously return. But we are expecting some changes. And then, listen, this week is massive because if you go to Milan and win, sets you up perfectly for the league game. If you go there and lose, the pressure is really on for that Bournemouth game.
And
really
especially
is.
With City and Arsenal next week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If one of them drops points or they both drop points, exactly. We need to pick up now.
We need a draw in that game, really, don't we?
We need top 4 at least this season, lad. So the only way we can do that is by making sure we catch up to keep up with the group. We don't have to beat the group, lad. Keep up with the group.
And the last time we played Morata in the Champions League, he's up front for Milan as well.
Adrian.
At Anfield. So there is your Hot Kopics episode on Doyle's birthday, right? Beautiful man, beautiful day. Don't forget to like this video. We've spoken about the Forest game. We'll also be previewing the Bournemouth game in more detail on Thursday. But until then, make sure you're watching our channel across the week. We're going to be in Box Park, Liverpool tomorrow night for the game. Mario's going to be at the game in the
So
San
cool,
Siro.
that, by the way. Honestly, the fact that we've got somebody out there to get coverage of the game for you, like, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm so happy we've got that.
And hopefully we're going to be going to the Eindhoven game and Girona as well in the
Yeah,
Champions
do you want to
League
see
as
us
well.
actually do some away ties? We did it with the Ajax, but we were thinking of going to an away tie just to have a little vlog, have a little
Back to Holland, back to Eindhoven.
Genuinely, yeah.
It's like the last time.
Have a little laugh and that, and then go and watch the game. So if you want to see that, let us know in the comments. And also, wish me happy birthday, yeah? I want to see some happy birthday comments.
We need the good.
I need it, yeah.
Thoughts today.
I'm in my Liverpool kits and everything.
So yeah, make sure you like the video. Let's get them subscriber numbers up. Get us to 46, and then we go again for 50. And yeah, not much else to say really. A bit of a horrendous result actually, but there's time to change all fortunes in this week, right? With a big trip to Milan, and then it's Bournemouth at Anfield, right? So Doyle, big up to you, bro. Happy birthday. Smash that like button, and we'll see you next time. Up the Reds.